Imagine walking through a storm. The wind howls, relentless, pushing against everything in its path. Rain falls in torrents, cold and sharp, hitting your skin like needles. Trees bend, their branches snapping under the pressure. The world around you seems ready to crumble, as if everything is on the brink of collapse. Yet in the middle of this chaotic storm, you stand still, unmoved, like a mountain, strong and unyielding. Your roots run so deep that no external force, no matter how fierce, can knock you down. The noise, the turbulence, the confusion, they all slide away like wind over a rock. Now ask yourself, what would it be like to live with that kind of inner peace and strength every single day? To face criticism, judgment, even hostility without losing control? To remain untouched, no matter what the world throws at you? What if you could develop such an unshakable inner stability that nothing and no one could rattle your core? This kind of strength is not some abstract concept reserved for a few lucky individuals. It's a concrete reality, available to anyone willing to embark on the journey of self-awareness and personal growth. It's about building a mental and emotional fortress that no storm can destroy. In today's video, I want to guide you through a journey of personal transformation, a journey to unlock an unbreakable inner strength. Together, we will dive deep into the wisdom of Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists in history, and learn how to cultivate a strength so powerful that it will protect you from life's fiercest storms. Imagine a life where you're not constantly shaken by the opinions or actions of others, where your peace is not disturbed by judgment or negativity. This kind of inner strength doesn't come from pretending that life is always perfect or avoiding the difficulties we face. It comes from understanding yourself deeply and using that knowledge to create an unwavering foundation. Stay with me, and by the end of this video, you might just uncover something that could completely change the way you live your life. Life is often a delicate balance between our inner world and the outer circumstances we face. How often have you felt vulnerable to someone's judgment? Maybe it was a critical remark, a disapproving glance, or an unexpected decision from someone else that made you feel small or unworthy. In those moments, we can feel as though we're leaves being blown by the wind, helpless in the face of forces beyond our control. But here's the truth that many overlook. These external influences only have power because we allow them to. Carl Jung, in his groundbreaking work, taught us a fundamental lesson. True freedom doesn't come from trying to change the world around us, or from getting others to behave the way we want them to. No, real freedom comes from looking within. It's within our inner world that we discover the keys to freedom from fear, judgment, and the need for external approval. The first step in building unshakable inner strength is to stop giving away your power to the opinions of others. Instead, take control of your own inner narrative. Jung also introduced us to the concept of the shadow, those parts of ourselves that we tend to ignore or repress. The shadow is made up of the fears, insecurities, and limiting beliefs we carry but don't want to face. These are the parts of us that make us feel inadequate or unworthy. And here's the kicker. These aspects of ourselves don't just disappear because we ignore them. They continue to influence how we live and how we allow others to treat us. But here's the twist. The shadow is not the enemy. Jung urged us to see these hidden parts of ourselves not as threats but as messengers. Every fear, every insecurity, every limiting belief is a signal, an opportunity for growth. Think of it this way. Imagine walking into a dark room. At first, everything feels scary because you can't see what's there. But when you turn on the light, what seemed like a danger becomes clear. Often it's nothing more than an illusion, a shadow that disappears when exposed to the light. The same thing happens when we bring light into the dark corners of our inner world. When we face our fears, insecurities, and limiting beliefs, we begin to understand them. We realize where they come from. Maybe a fear originates from a past experience. Perhaps an insecurity was instilled by someone close to us. A limiting belief could just be a story we've been telling ourselves for far too long. But here's the question. What if we started seeing our shadows as allies instead of enemies? What if we looked behind every fear and saw an opportunity to grow stronger? What if we looked past every insecurity and saw a lesson waiting to be learned? What if we could break free from the chains of limiting beliefs and rewrite our own story? This is the power of facing your shadow. It's not easy, but it's the first step toward true freedom. Once we shine the light on our inner world, we realize that what we feared was never really a threat. It was simply a part of us waiting to be understood. So, how do we begin this process of transformation? How do we build a life where nothing and no one can negatively influence us? It starts with 3 key steps. Step 1. Become the observer. The first step in building inner strength is developing the ability to observe ourselves without reacting automatically. This means when someone criticizes you or provokes you, you take a step back, you pause, you breathe. Instead of immediately reacting, you ask yourself, does this situation define me, or is it simply revealing something I can work on within myself? Being an observer means not letting your emotions control you. It means creating space between the stimulus, like a harsh comment or judgment, and your response. This gives you the power to choose how you react. Imagine yourself as a neutral observer watching a movie. You can still see the scene unfold, but you don't get emotionally dragged into it. To practice this, try counting to 10 when you feel strong emotions rising. Slow down, breathe deeply, and create that pause before you respond. It can be a game changer when you realize that you have the ability to control your reactions. Step 2. Strengthen your inner core. The second step is all about strengthening your inner foundation. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of aligning with our authentic self. This requires introspection. You need to take the time to reflect on what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What boundaries do you want to set? When you know who you are and what you stand for, external opinions have less power over you. Think of your inner core like the roots of a tree. The deeper they go, the stronger the tree becomes. The more connected you are to your true self, the less you'll be swayed by the winds of external judgment. To strengthen your core, identify your values and make them non-negotiable. Write them down and reflect on them daily. Set clear boundaries and don't be afraid to stand firm when someone crosses them. Step 3. Transform negative energy. The third step involves transforming negative emotions into opportunities for growth. No matter how unpleasant they may seem, negative emotions are guides. When you feel anger, fear, or sadness, instead of running from these emotions, face them. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What part of me is being triggered? Each negative emotion is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself. Maybe anger signals a boundary has been crossed. Perhaps fear is pointing to a limiting belief that needs to be addressed. Even sadness can be an invitation to let go of something that no longer serves you. To transform negative energy, keep an emotion journal. Write down your feelings, what triggered them, and what you learned from them. Practice creative visualization, where you imagine transforming negative emotions into positive ones. Finally, practice reverse gratitude. Find something useful or positive in even the most challenging situations. As you begin practicing these 3 steps, becoming the observer, strengthening your inner core, and transforming negative emotions, you'll start to see a shift. Life will still throw challenges your way, but you'll be stronger, more resilient. You'll realize that you have the power to shape your own reality, to rewrite your story. Remember, this journey isn't a quick fix. It takes time, patience, and consistent practice. But as you continue, you'll discover a version of yourself that is more powerful than you ever imagined. If you've found value in this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it with someone who could benefit from this message. Your journey towards inner strength starts today. Keep going and never stop growing.